I'm going to be doing the retro shorts sew along today. I am going to start out by showing you how I cut out my fabric. For those of you who don't know, I have a projector, which is something new or that's happening with sewing. So I thought I'd show my setup here. My projector is here. It's above my sewing table. I connect it to my computer, and then Lowland and a few other places have projector files now. And once I have it all plugged in, it'll project it onto my cutting table, and then I'll be able to cut it out just from there. So I'm gonna set that up, get my pattern pulled up, and show you guys how I use that. All right, I've got my projector on. It is USB connected to my computer, and this is what it looks like when it throws onto my fabric. Really easy to see. Lowland does a great job with their projector files. I've never had an issue with them. If you're gonna do your regular paper pattern, it's pretty much going to be the same thing. So we're going to cut 2 backs, opposite sides, mirror images. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all of these out, or the front and back, and then I'm going to flip my fabric over and then cut out the front and back again to get that mirror image. So you're going to cut 2 of these mirror images, 2 of these mirror images, and then this is your pocket. So you're going to cut 2 of these. This is your inside of your pocket. So you're going to cut 2 of those. This is your waistband, and then this is your binding. So you're gonna cut 2 of the bindings out. And then I'm gonna do all that real quick, and then we'll move on from there. All right, sorry for the awkward angle. I was just trying to get it so you can kind of see my lines here. So I'm gonna start by cutting out my pockets. So I figured I'd take a second here to talk a little bit about my projector. If you're not interested in projectors or it's super boring, just give me a quick fast forward, because I'm just going to be cutting out everything as I go here. The difference between your AO patterns and your projector files is typically these lines are a lot bolder and easier to see. Things that are cut on the fold are not on the fold anymore, so you can see my waistband is one solid cut, and it just makes it a lot easier when you're using that projector to not have to fold your fabric and line it up that way. Also, one of my favorite things is if I'm cutting with fabric that has a print, I really like it because I can see exactly where it's going to be. So if I'm doing a t-shirt and I want like a specific print, I can line it up real nice on my shirt because I can see exactly, you know, I don't have the paper pattern covering it. And then I also just love that I don't have to buy as much printer paper anymore. I don't have to buy the ink anymore. It's super quick. If a new pattern comes out, like usually I stall and put it off forever because I just don't like printing and putting together patterns. It's pretty much my least favorite part of sewing. So I was able to cut all of that out. So anyways, I cut these all one way. I'm gonna flip my fabric over, and then I'm gonna cut out my second one, so I'm getting that mirror image that we need for these. All right, now that I got the lights back on here, you can see that I've got my back piece 2 opposites. So right now all my fabric is right side up. I know it's hard to tell with the solid print, but these are my back pieces, my front pieces. I've got my pockets, my pocket lining. I've got 2 of the bindings, and I've got my waistband, and I am ready to start putting this together. Of course, I forgot something. If you're gonna do pockets, you do wanna cut this out, and I totally forgot about that. I am gonna do pockets, so I'm gonna take a second here and cut these out on both my my front pieces. I also forgot that you have to cut your elastic. It's 2 different sizes based on what size you're doing. I'm making a 4T, so I'm gonna use 2-inch elastic. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to pin my front pieces and my back pieces together. So these are my front pieces. They are right side up right now. You can see I cut the pockets out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay them right side together. Sorry with the solid fabric, it's a little tough to tell. But we're just gonna sew right here. So I always use my clips. Just another thing I find to be a lot quicker than using pins, but if you have pins, go ahead with them. All right, so that's my first one. Then I'm gonna take my back piece. Oh, I got it. Right away. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. So now my fabrics are right side up. I'm gonna flip it over so they are right sides together. And I am going to clip along here. And then I'm gonna take it over to my serger and I'm gonna serge them up. Okay, I'm over here at my serger. You don't have to have a serger to make these. So anytime I use my serger, if you don't have one, you can use your regular sewing machine and just use your zigzag stitch or your triple stitch or anything, whatever is your preferred stretch stitch. But because this is a knit fabric, it has stretch, you're gonna need a stitch that allows your fabric to stretch. Okay, now I have my front and my back all sewn up. They're gonna kind of look like these like little mermaid tails here. If you're gonna do the pockets, that's what I'm gonna do next. So I'm going to take my pocket pieces that have the curve in it, and I am going to lay them right sides together on top here. And then I'm gonna sew along here and then we will be back. Okay, so I serged my pockets on. Hopefully you can see this well. Here's my serge line. So right now they're right sides together, and I'm just gonna take it, I'm gonna open it up and flip it so that it's on the back side. Same thing here, it's right here. I'm gonna flip it over and then tuck it back under. So now your pockets are on the inside. I'm gonna go over to my cover stitch and I am just going to top stitch along this edge here. If you don't have a cover stitch, you can use your regular sewing machine again. You just need to use some sort of stretch stitch to just give it a little bit of give, just in case you don't want to pop any of those stitches. Over here at my cover stitch, I mentioned this in one of the other videos I had done before. When I start my cover stitch, I prefer to start with just a little bit of scrap fabric. It doesn't start chaining right away, so it skips the first couple stitches. I think that's fairly normal. So I just put this on here so that that's not like shown on my garment. And then when it's just really close to the needles, I'll pick up the foot. And I did end up putting a few clips in here just so that that fold is nice, nice and flat. And then I'll just pick up my foot and I will tuck it, just butt it up right close to there and go along. Okay, and then when I finish, I keep my foot down, I turn backwards so my needles are up, pick up my foot, and then I pull my needle threads, pulling from the top, not the bottom, just to loosen them up a bit. And then I kind of wiggle my fabric out, keep pulling those needle threads until I can give them a good little snip, and then that's gonna release my bottom. I'm sure if you guys have a cover stitch, you already know these little things, but you just never know. Some of my favorite little sewing things that I've learned are from videos. So, and then, oh, it's so hard to tell, such dark fabric. There we go. I have a nice little top stitch there. Okay, now I have this is my right side of my fabric, and then this is my wrong side. So here are my little pocket flaps. You're gonna take these, the inside of your pockets, and then you're gonna lay them right sides together with your pocket piece. So you want to make sure that the wrong side is up. And then when you lay these down, there's like a little angle to the cut, and you're going to want them to go up this way, if that makes sense. So I have this one on the wrong side. I'm going to flip it back over. This one's gonna go here, and then you're just gonna, you wanna line it up with the inside, with the, I don't know, I guess the pocket piece here. So it's not gonna go to your main fabric. It's just, let me make sure I'm getting this right. It's just gonna go along your pocket, and that's gonna create, it's gonna create that there. So when you do this, so I have my main pieces wrong side up. When you do this way, whichever, if you have a print or whatever you're doing here, whichever is facing down is what you're gonna see when your shorts are done. So just something to keep mindful. So here's my pocket piece, here's my main piece, and then that's what we're adding on right here is this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do, I hope that's clear. I wish I had different colors, but so there's that. I'm just gonna do the same thing with my other one. I'm gonna make it the wrong way. And then I know some people like to use the wrong side of their fabric if, you know, you want those terry loops to show, if you're using French terry or whatnot, just to kind of give it like a little accent. Without being like too bold, just a little something. So the next thing we're gonna do is we are gonna sew these together. So when we do this, we wanna be sure, up here will be easy. We're just gonna sew right along here, but when you get to where all the pockets are meeting at your sides in here, you just wanna sew the pocket. You wanna stop right here. You don't want to sew over the front part of your shorts. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do next. Back over at my serger, I'm going to sew this pocket piece on. So I'm going to flip it upside down and kind of give you how we're going to do this. So when it meets the rest of the fabric, I'm just going to trail off a bit here. Okay, so right here, this is where I have that back piece, and then you can see where the top stitching was. I don't want to go over a whole bunch of that at all. So I'm going to kind of get close, and then I'm going to pull my fabric out of the way. This is what it's going to look like. I have my right side up, and you can see now I've got this. So this is like where your little pocket is. I'm going to flip it over. This is what it'll look like from this side. This is what we just serged on. As you can see, I didn't sew onto the shorts at all. I stopped right where the pocket kind of meets the shorts. And then what I like to do is, because this is kind of weird here, I like to get all my fabric here nice and flat and just put a clip in it. All right, now that I've got these little clips here to keep my pocket in place, I'm gonna take my back piece and lay them right sides together, and we're gonna sew together at this little V. This is gonna be it for today. After we sew this together, I will be back tomorrow and we will start with the binding. Be sure to post pictures under this and we'll see how everyone's doing.